Oh, how lucky I am to have something that makes saying goodbye so hard. Winnie the Pooh has always been one of my most beloved childhood shows. A. Milne created stories that lasted, with the little adventures and the small experiences each character went through to make it so tragically beautiful. Each seemingly unchanging day held such simple wonders that we often consciously overlooked. And yet, sometimes the smallest things take up the most room in your heart. During my last semester at Penn, I decided to record these small experiences and little adventures. It didn't matter how trivial those moments seemed. I wanted to hold on to every sound, sight, taste, feeling, person, place, or thing I encountered. From every coffee I bought, in which there were many, to every walk I took, which also increased exponentially, I captured those passing moments that I barely took notice of before. Part of it was for the sake of making this video, but also maybe another part of it was my way of coping with the inevitable end. If I recorded every minuscule, soon-to-be-forgotten instance that occurred in these last 5 months, maybe my college days would continue for just a bit longer. If I saved all these clips to watch back, maybe I could pretend to not notice the time moving by so quickly. Time. The scary thing about time is that it stops for no one, regardless of whether we paid attention to the curves of the street, the details on the sides of the buildings we enter every day, the clouds that drift by, or the people we pass without saying hello. The days continue to leave us, forcing us forward even if that wasn't where we wanted to head. You don't realize how much you should treasure those days until you only have a certain number of them left. So, as we counted down to the end of it all, I tried to make note of those delicate details I had forgone for so long. I wanted to take the time to admire the things I was too busy to notice before. From the many flowers I never knew existed at Penn, to the not-so-long walks into Center City, to the way the sun sets right through Locust every evening. Instead of racing from one GCal meeting to another, these days were meant for resting. On high-rise fields, by the river, in Rittenhouse, anywhere that let time and me breathe. Treasured days should be spent with treasured people. Instead of leaving conversations we should grab lunch sometime, I wanted to spend my days doing trivial things with such non-trivial people. From every meal spent outside picnicking, to every walk into West Philly or Rittenhouse, to every bike ride across the river, to every aesthetic happy hour, to every late night rerun at Wawa's or Allegro's. Every conversation and interaction held that much more weight, knowing it would soon be our last. As a part of this project, I decided to ask some of my friends to share the meaning of their little adventures at Penn. What my new everyday occurrence meant the most to you during college.
For me, my journey to Penn began as an escape. While others focused on the prestigious aspect of Penn, I focused on how far away it was from home.
Sometimes Penn was the worst of times.
Every new sensation is a blessing. Every anxious thought is a theft.
Being able to go to Penn was both a privilege and a hardship.
Penn was the fear of being an imposter and a failure, as you sat and cried in the basement of Van Pelt like a bad cliche, taking your first incomplete on an assignment as midnight came and went.
I learned quickly how well you tell lies to protect truths, and how you tell truths that half lie, drunk on the memories that have not yet been made.
Penn made me a person who sobbed in Van Pelt because of her anatomy grades,
Penn was the reluctant acceptance that you were fallible,
and delivered a huge slap to the face when our senior year was swept right from underneath us.
After Penn, I see all of those new beginnings, those changes that I used to fear, as blessings now.
While the bad things are easier to remember, to blame, I know you treated me well.
Penn taught me that it was okay to fall on your face sometimes, as long as I got back up.
When I think about Penn
was the best of times.
I realized that my happiest moments at Penn came from the smallest things.
there are random foods that take me back to specific memories.
But Penn, will you remember me as I do you?
Many of these memories weren't about what I studied or how I looked on paper, but rather the people that I was with and the silly, deep, vulnerable conversations that we would have.
I love how much you cared, because I was all the better for it. content in a little garden, sheltered with little friends, learning while embraced by you.
Gave me the roommate freshman year whose family welcomed me into their home every Thanksgiving, and the roommates I would live, laugh, and cry with through the rest of college.
Penn was the cheap pink wine that you drank from a Wawa cup in stride because you were broken happy college kids.
In fall, you'd bring me indoors to cook meals for strangers as my soul would grow.
The way the light freckled on locusts,
The sunlight coming in between the high-rises as you laid on the grass of the remaining campus green and sipped on your second boba of the week.
Or the purple Trader Joe's bagged spinach, which makes me think about sunset walks across the Schuylkill River Bridge and discovering the magic of the SEPTA Green Line.
a slow coffee afternoon with a friend.
Whether it be food, a new club, meeting friends of friends, switching your major, challenging your own beliefs, or engaging in the community around you,
The friends, interests, conversations, they were always a delight. Gears turned with the new year, and I stumbled over myself that first day, finding myself lost in a garden of many different blooms.
Like goldfish, which I would always grab a cup of whenever I left Commons, Hill, or God forbid McClelland, to then share with my friends as we studied in Mobo.
from freshman year, when I felt the need to strategically plan my studying around party weekends and enthusiastically wave hi to every acquaintance I ran into in dining halls, class, or on Locust, to senior year, never having imagined I would ever have to have virtual hangouts this soon with the people I loved most.
Penn was the person you've known for 3 days walking you to the Apple store to get your phone fixed because you were a lightweight and a dummy who broke it during NSO.
Forced me to walk down Locust just a bit, actually a lot hungover. Introduced me to someone who made me love Money Heist just as much as I love him.
Or exploring the city like I had all the time in the world. I think that's the most beautiful part about Penn.
For 4 years, Penn was everything.
Down the road, I might not be able to rattle off the spinothalamic tract pathway perfectly, but I will be able to open up my kitchen cabinet and reminisce in the small, humble moments that will never fail to bring a smile to my face.
But at least I know, despite our trials, the bouquet you've given me, of posterity and pride, a gift, wakes me up from my muddled dreams, turned gray, like the little strings of hair that lace my neck.
And for all of this, my heart is overwhelmingly full, and I am so appreciative of a place I've come to make my own called Penn.
Every person's memories are different. Memories aren't written prettily on a resume or displayed like a trophy. They aren't judged by how prestigious they are or how much value they hold. The type of memories you have doesn't determine how successful you were in college, and the number of memories doesn't equal how much effort you put in. Penn, for the past 4 years, you were our entire world. You were kind and cruel, deafeningly loud and sickeningly silent, loving and cold. You pushed us forward and dragged us back, kicked us down and picked us back up. You were made of some life-changing moments and even more unremarkable ones. I wonder, when I look back on this video 10 years from now, will those commonplace memories still hold? I hope they do, because they are the greatest gift I got from you.